My name is Ani Udovichki. I work at the Frank Sinatra School of the Arts. It is a high school located in Long Island City, Queens. And we are an art high school with 5 studios: dance, music, instrumental, vocal, drama, and fine arts. I am one of the 3 dance teachers. I was interested in this class because I've been living in New York for almost 30 years, have many Puerto Rican friends, most of them artists performing and from the visual arts. So it seemed that this was a great chance to learn about the history of the Puerto Rican immigration into New York City. Having sort of lived among Puerto Ricans in New York City, I really wanted to know some, facts, history, and I got much more. I especially enjoyed the readings from the early immigrants on, such as, I want to say Vega, Jesus Colon. Those were so immediate, first-hand experience of the early decades of arriving into this country. But I enjoyed them as literature, not just for what I found out and the information they portrayed. I was especially moved by an excerpt on Antonia Pantoja. So when a classmate showed me that she had her autobiography, I borrowed it and read it, and I think perhaps of all the leaders and pioneers I learned about in this course, she will stay with me for a long time because of her character, to have the vision and then the persistence to carry it through and to really make a tremendous difference in the community where she worked. I hear that her legacy is still with us, and I hope that the community will also celebrate her for many years to come. I look forward to seeing the movie, I understand, has just been completed on her life. I enjoyed also meeting the poets who came to our class, Mariposa in Papelote. In a way, I wish we had had more direct contact with artists, but I understand that the course was not an art history course, but rather a social studies course. But when we had the poets in class, to hearing them say their poetry and just sharing their experiences, it was a much richer experience for us than just reading their work. And well, I feel I did learn what I came to, the history, but really much more. And I'm glad I took this course and found out about El Centro. For me, trying to get dance and social studies was a challenge, and if I hear him go, then I'll say, oh no. Oh no.
If you hear the social studies teachers go first. Okay, so we'll let you go first then.
So I created an imaginary unit, which I don't think I'll ever get to teach as such, because it would take too long. And I have a very defined mandate to teach dance, in a sense that our graduates can then audition at the best conservatories and dance programs of the country. Therefore, it comes, either we are dancing or there's the whole world to learn about, and it's very valid, but I really have to balance it well so that they grow, first of all, in their technique as dancers in a very traditional sense. Having said that, I do like to bring in their own backgrounds into the classroom, because I show them that we as dancers have our background. That's how I try to engage them in dance history. So the starting point would be dance as a family background, but we do have, if we look back in history, both modern dance and ballet have their own history and beginnings. So thinking that that's the environment I teach with, some things are taken for granted that they know, some skills just in dance itself and some knowledge of dance history. This unit would be Afro-Caribbean dance and their contribution to theatrical dance in New York City. I have divided it in this proposal in a unit on Haiti, Cuba, and Puerto Rico. And to tell you the truth, I don't know if I should have Jamaica instead of Cuba. I would have to do more research into the field myself, but certainly Haiti and Puerto Rico are very different, and together they would be really a good overview of the crossings of cultures in the area, or to use a more current word, the syncretism of it all. And so the three lessons are Puerto Rico. Basically, in lesson number 1, we would start with folk dances of Puerto Rico. I would bring a guest teacher because I'm not an expert in the field. And in school, we often have a chance to bring guest teachers, so that would fit in nicely. As a matter of fact, I have had invited guest teachers of the Danam technique, which is based on a lot Haitian primarily, Afro-Caribbean dance. So the lesson ideally would start with some footage of the dances as they are performed in Puerto Rico, and then proceed with a dance class in which they would learn, hopefully too, they would have to have live musicians, which we have in the past too, drummers, come and have a lesson in bomba and plena. I do have 2-hour classes, so all of this would realistically fit into one of my lessons. So after about 1 hour of instruction in the dance, I would ask the students to separate into small groups, 3 to 4, and combine elements that they have just learned with any movement vocabulary. It could be learned, but I always encourage them to just invent, to create their own. And so if each participant in the group contributes, they have to also decide, which elements from bomba and plena to use, which will they create as transitions and create a group piece, which then they would perform and get feedback from their classmates and the instructors. And here, for the purpose of this class, we would be looking mostly at the Puerto Rican folk more than their originality and skill in putting a dance piece together. But I usually do give feedback, and so do the students, and to have this transition worked, or you could have, change facing here, change formations, added canons, but I didn't write about it because those are such dance composition skills that I concentrated more veering towards the social studies. And I would then ask them to think and share if they have seen in New York bomba and plena performed. I would hope that some students could speak from personal experience. I, having lived here for 30 years, have had many opportunities to be at places where it was performed, so hopefully they could share and hear about where do you see it. Let me just make sure if there's